This week on occasion of Vijayadashmi, we are coming up with 3 interesting webinars. The first webinar is Making an Auspicious Start, where we will be discussing on how to make your first investment decision. This webinar will be hosted in 2 different languages, Tamil and English. And the second webinar is What Makes Peer Different. Here we'll be discussing our multi-asset PMS product Peer. This webinar is more useful for the investors who want to diversify their portfolio. And the last webinar is the power of lump sum investing. Here we'll be discussing the benefits of lump sum investing. If you are interested in any of this webinar, you can click the link below in the description to register.
What wrong expectations can do. A lot of investors are conditioned to beating something or someone. You're conditioned to doing better than something you're comparing with. But investing is not about beating anything or anyone. Investing is all about meeting your requirements, meeting your goals, meeting your expectations. When you set beating something or someone as your expectation, you are now going into the hands of that exercise or that person or that thing that you want to beat. Comparison in investing always takes out the individuality from you, because you will be forced to surrender your individuality in order to beat what you are comparing with or whom you are comparing with. But it is very difficult for you to wriggle out of such comparisons. It is not at all easy. For example, if you are a fund manager or a portfolio manager, you will have a benchmark. So everybody is going to ask, are you beating the benchmark this month? It's like the mother who waits for the school kid to come home with the test papers. The mother won't stop with asking how many marks did you score. She will immediately ask, what did the other score? And she will have 4 or 5 people in her mind. Investment managers also are like those students who come home with their test papers. But is it useful in improving your investing or taking your investing to the next level? I am afraid not. Because in my experience as an investor, comparing is first a very negative energy. Comparisons create so much of negativity, and the negativity will stop your investing from getting better, or it will rush you in your investing in the hope that you will get better. And if you rush yourself so badly, the quality of your investing is bound to suffer. This is my personal experience. But there is no escaping a benchmark. So how do you deal with that? In a market where you think it's not worth running that race, in a market where the valuations are elevated and you don't find value, I'm sure a lot of you know today that finding attractive stocks in this market of the same quality that you bought 3 years back is virtually a very tall ask. You know it's not easy, right? Under such circumstances, when you know that you are not having opportunity, there's no point going hunting for opportunity. You keep looking, but if you don't get any, you don't become anxious. So when you back off in such extreme phases of valuation, you will not perform against who you are comparing with for a brief period of time, because some people may be running on full throttle even in this market. And in such a market, people who are running at full throttle and deploying money continuously will actually be showing returns which I think is attributable purely to impact cost, because as they build the position itself, the price will go up and it will show up as returns. Or if you have bought a stock and somebody else is buying it after you, that person buying will push up the price and you will think that you have made returns. And if you want to compare that return with a benchmark, I'm not sure it is a fair comparison or a meaningful comparison. So, not racing or competing with something or someone, with a benchmark or a peer, is very important during times like the present. yes, you will have a few months or even quarters of underperformance because you are not even deploying. You would be having some cash in your portfolio. You are not looking to buy new ideas which are going up immediately. So your portfolio has a very modest impact of price moving up because everybody is buying a stock. In essence, impact cost is lower in your portfolio than in a portfolio of a far more hyperactive person. So, not racing with a benchmark, not racing with a peer, in a time like we are in now, makes a lot of sense and it protects your sanity, but it will show you in mediocre light for some time. But what I have understood from my experience as an investor is that time can be used in very effective ways. You can recharge yourself, you can read a lot, you can study new themes, you can study the businesses you like and decide what valuation is appropriate for that business. So set a valuation at which you will like to buy that business. Use your time constructively to do all these things. And don't try to compare yourself with others, at least during these phases, because that will stop you from slowing down, that will stop you from becoming more cautious, that will stop you from becoming conservative, and that will stop you from thinking afresh. Because if you are on the treadmill all the time, your focus is only to keep running on the treadmill. But when you get off the treadmill, you get some peace and quiet where you can think about what you want to do in the present and in the immediate future, how you would like things to be in the future which will benefit what you want to achieve, what kind of scenario you think will be favorable to you, and when that scenario arrives before you, what you would like to do. So preparing in the present for the future would effectively stop you from comparing yourself with a benchmark or a peer, and it will give you a lot of fresh thinking, fresh air and freedom. And that freedom is the most invaluable asset to every equity investor. Whether you are an individual investor or a fund manager or a professional manager of a portfolio, this freedom is what will take you through phases like the present and keep you well prepared for the future. Thank you for watching this video.